say something one more time? Can you say something one more time?
Oh, sorry. You wrote, come hand with me and Thurrott as we do chat.
I meant to say,
It's
hey.
a broken sentence on so many levels. But I think I understood what you meant. Also, I'm going to start shaving my head. I can't stand this anymore.
You heard it here live, folks.
I'm just done. Instead of calling this living with Esmo thing a series, I think I'm going to call it a serial killing.
Wow.
Yep.
Here's where we go to watch Chrome die.
Oh, God. And, yeah, there it goes. My office is a disaster. The reason I have a cat.
Well, welcome back, everybody. If
Sure.
if the outside universe could let us know if the audio is okay.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
Prefer.
Brad, you're a little hot.
That's what my wife says. Just kidding. She never says that.
I need to think, then talk.
Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum-bum. All right, Kevin Leon says it sounds good. So, folks, if anything goes wrong today, please direct all
His
your
email
hatred.
address is
Yep. Please direct.
Kevin.Leon.
Yep. It's his fault.
B2 cloud storage. Blah, 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 blah.
Bam, bam, bam. What if we just had a podcast of 48.5 minutes of just us having staring,
Us singing like TV commercial jingles to ourselves?
that or staring competition?
Or just watch as we write articles.
He's
Actually, that might be
aggressively hitting enter,
semi-interesting.
folks.
I think I talk to myself a lot.
I do too. It's the result of sitting in a basement.
Yeah, our lonely troll-like lives.
All right. I got nothing. All right, you. What? I was looking at my computer to do something, and I don't know what it was.
Mhm.
It's probably important. But you ready to kick off this bandwagon of an event?
Yeah. Sure. Then I'm going to hop in the car and drive to Philadelphia. Oh, no, wait, that was last week.
All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to First Ring Daily. It is Friday, which means this is a live show, and all calamity is not edited out, because that's what we do on Fridays.
Sorry. How you doing?
You know, I'm holding it together. I think I think that's the appropriate way to describe what's going on today. But before we dive in, today's show is brought to you by Cloudberry Lab. We'll have a little bit more about them, but check them out at cloudberrylab.com/FRD. So, Miracast. Just.
Yep.
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 Yeah. Yeah. What did I even put in the show notes today? It was just running on all cylinders today.
I did something today I very rarely do, which is I consulted the show notes ahead of the show.
Wow.
Yeah. A couple of ruin the surprise moments. You picked two really cynical comments out of our little bucket of comments today. Really cynical.
Cynical or true?
It can be both.
Yeah. I think so too. That's kind of why they're there. Speaking of things that are going to be there, it looks like Chrome notifications are going to be coming to the Windows 10 Action Center finally.
Yeah, I don't know, it's a week or two ago when Google Chrome notifications switched over to that little box in the corner, which looks closer to native than it used to. It used to be like in browser. Somebody, we must have written it up to some capacity. I'm sure Mehdi wrote it up or whatever, but somebody commented at the time, like, this is great, but when are the real notifications going to come? And it's like, well, actually, I sort of view this as a step toward that goal, and now they're actually doing a native notification. So,
yep,
I think that's good news for everybody. I don't, someone today on Twitter was like, "Thank God," like this has been the thing holding them back from a fully realized existence online,
right.
But. Great, right? So we do a lot of stuff in our browsers. If you use Chrome, obviously, this is big news. So that's good.
Yeah. And on another side note, if you're using Chrome and you get those notifications and they're annoying, they're going to be more annoying in more other places once they make their way into the Action Center.
Yeah. I yesterday discussed how I was going to blow away my Surface laptop and install Windows 10s on there and get on the Insider Preview, which I did do last night. That's exciting stuff, I know. But the thing I was doing before that was experimenting with different kind of UI changes. And one of the things I did is you can install that startup tool, Start 10, which is, can change the start menu. But it actually does some other stuff. Like one of the things you can do is turn on different levels of transparency on the taskbar. You can turn off the start button. You can in Windows 10 just in the native tools turn off Action Center. Let me check. Maybe that's in there too. But I basically kind of made this minimalist toolbar because I use the keyboard for a lot of things. So if I'm going to use search or start menu, whatever, I'm going to use the keyboard. I very rarely go over and click that button. So it sort of occurred to me like. I mentioned this only because you mentioned the Action Center, which I never use. I think it's terrible and pointless. But, once you make kind of a minimalist start or a taskbar rather, you sort of go down this path where you're like, what would be cool is if like the application icons, maybe they could move to the middle of the screen, and then maybe the taskbar could just be completely transparent. You wouldn't even see it. And then maybe if you moused over the icons, they would actually kind of magnify, you know what I mean? Maybe they could have like these animations if you right clicked on them, maybe in a kind of a spiral pattern of some kind.
Here's a crazy idea. What if they also then put some of the context menus up at the very top of the window?
Yes. Actually, maybe just always have a menu at the top of the screen, no matter what application you're running. Someone should do that. That's really smart.
Should. I mean, interesting. Yeah. I don't know if consumers would like it, but
I'm sure at least 7% of them would love it. Oh boy, this on today's episode of What Are They Really Talking About?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh god. There's just no end in sight, folks. This is
I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But are you really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. Anyways.
It's your sorry doesn't mean the same thing if you laugh after you say it.
Oh man, another Black Ops is that I saw that their Call of Duty thing came out, so I'm surprised that they're not following in the theme of the other one that was World War II or whatever, World War One.
Yeah, right. They're in a weird situation now because Activision has 3 different studios making games, so every third year it's the same studio again. The studio that's coming up is, I think it's called Sledgehammer, and I think, but whoever it is, they're the guys that did Black Ops before. So 3 years ago, Black Ops 3 came out. Black Ops was the last successful series that they did, right? Obviously, Call of Duty started out with World War II games. They moved to Modern Warfare for 3 very successful games, and then they moved to Black Ops for 3 very successful games. But intermixed in there, because at different times there were 2 and then 3 different studios making the games. They tried 3 other series starters, Ghosts, Advanced Warfare, and Infinite Warfare, and all of those things kind of failed pretty miserably. And, they're running, it's like they're basically running out of ideas. I mean, it's interesting. Black Ops is interesting on a number of levels. Like I think the World War II game has succeeded on because of a couple things. One is a return to classic gameplay. And and the other one is just a return to the classic setting. I think there's kind of a nostalgia factor there, and they've done a nice job with it. It's really well done. But the thing that's interesting about Black Ops is that the last game, Black Ops 3, is the only version of a Call of Duty game where they actually had like jetpacks and wall running. That was actually kind of awesome. Like the other two that did that, Advanced and Infinite Warfare, were both terrible. And actually, Black Ops 3 multiplayer is one of the best multiplayer experiences ever. And so I'm curious if they're going to try to split the game up so that you could choose not maps, but I guess game types that are classic or not classic game style. So I feel sort of bad for them because clearly they've tried to come up with new ideas, and none of those new ideas work. So they just keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I think 2019, you can fully expect to see Modern Warfare 4. Why not?
Yeah. The games keep making a lot of money, so it's kind of hard to.
Well, that's the thing.
Away.
Like some of these games, these games cost as much as a movie to make, really, right? And they take years to make. And I think it was Advanced Warfare was the one that they actually hired Kevin Spacey to be an actor in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think that the single player experience is like the big part of these games. I don't quite understand the emphasis on that, because if you look at how they handle DLC, I'm sure there are occasional small updates for multiplayer, but it's not like you've ever heard, there's a new chapter in the story coming out as part of a DLC pack. Like, it's all multiplayer stuff. And I think that, over the course of a year, I think that's where people all spend their time. Call of Duty should they should just go straight up multiplayer. Why bother with these stupid stories? It doesn't even make any sense. Like, let's tell the World War II story again, Great. I wonder how it's going to end this time.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I don't think I've actually played through a Call of Duty campaign actually since Black Ops 1, I want to say.
I mean, I used to play through all of them and often multiple times, but, I did finish World War II. I did redo Modern Warfare Remastered, but Infinite Warfare I never finished. Advanced Warfare I never finished. And by the way, Black Ops 3, as good as the multiplayer was, I never got anywhere in the single player. I was bored stiff. Like, I couldn't believe how terrible it was. And I don't know. I've gone full circle on this stuff. I used to spend all my time right up front playing single player, then get into multiplayer later. And now single player is just an afterthought. I kind of don't even care, for the most part.
It's kind of how I'm feeling today.
Yes. Yep.
Mostly because I gotta, I'm looking at next week's calendar already, and it's like, man, next week's already over.
I'm sorry.
I'm
gonna procrastinate and pretend next week isn't gonna happen, and I'm just gonna ride the wave until then, because my wife and my daughter are both gone. They're in Boston.
Oh.
And my only real responsibility is I have to make sure the dog gets outside, for various reasons.
Yep.
So yeah, that's good.
Speaking of outside, Paul, Microsoft's mixed reality has a new spring environment, because that's what the people want.
It's funny, when Windows Mixed Reality first came out, and they have this, it's like a house. It's sort of their start menu for the game it's a house. It's like a virtual house. You walk around and whatever. And I don't know. There's something really low tech about this to me. Like you can decorate the walls with things and stuff. It's kind of goofy. And then of course, Steam VR support showed up on Windows Mixed Reality. So I checked that out. And as it turns out, and a lot of people know this, Steam VR does the same thing. They have a little house. It's it's the same. It's the same thing. So I guess in the context of that, offering a little variety is okay. But I don't know. The notion of virtually navigating through a home to find the thing you want to do. I don't know. If I was going to use this a lot, I think I'd just stack up tiles right there in the front and let the rest of the house get dusty.
Would you like those tiles to be interactive and not dead?
No, I don't care. In fact, I just want to get into the app.
Right.
I think there's a timer that starts when you put on a VR headset, right? Because you can't be in there for a long time. So the notion that I'm going to put this thing on and then casually hang around a house and watch as live tiles update with little weather icons or something is ludicrous, right? Like, I want to go in, start the thing I'm going to do it, and then take that thing off. I don't know.
I'm going to come back.
Anyway, it's cool. Well, variety's good. I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about it. I just think the environment's a little goofy.
Come back to that in 1 second because we got to run through this real quick, folks. As we mentioned at the top of the hour, today's show, top of the hour, I guess top of the show, which was top of the hour, technically speaking, is brought to you by Cloudberry Lab. Make sure to check them out, cloudberrylab.com/FRD, to find a better way to back up your data, put it on any cloud, protect yourself against ransomware, and it's really actually is beneficial. I know quite a few people who are listening to the show are now using it because you pick your data and put it wherever you want and pay whatever you want, because Amazon, Azure, and all those guys are changing prices frequently. Make sure you're not overpaying for data. Check out Cloudberry Lab for all that good stuff. Paul, where I was headed with this is Microsoft. I've said this before. So this is Sea of Thieves. This is a screenshot from here. I was actually playing earlier a little bit with Tom Warren because I had no idea what I was doing. I just downloaded the free open beta. Microsoft is funding this. I believe they're funding it. And they're a big producer of this game. This is a play anywhere title. I was playing it on my PC, and it's so far so good. It's a very interesting game. But Paul, you know what would have been amazing, absolutely amazing, is that if I could have put on a VR headset and explored the Sea of Thieves world, but I can't.
Right. I think it's because Xbox doesn't have VR.
Au contraire, my friend. You can play this on the PC.
No, I know that. But I mean, maybe they didn't want the Windows version to be completely different or whatever.
Well, I disagree, because I really would have put on a freaking Windows mixed reality headset and stand like in the middle of this. Like it's
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty in its own kind of low polygon way. Like, it's a very neat game so far. I do worry that there's not going to be enough to do to kind of keep interest long term, but to kind of go screw around with some friends, it definitely seems like it has potential. It'll be some good first party IP. Definitely for Microsoft, but man, it's like they have all the pieces there, and it's not like it needs to be a crazy mixed reality experience. I can use my keyboard and mouse and put that little headset on and then just look around. Like, that's all I want. And Microsoft will get $300 out of me for a mixed reality headset. That's it. That's.
I hear they're going for cheap now.
I would even go cheaper. That's like the missing thing that Microsoft could do. To actually, maybe sell these things. But here we are. Here's some great first-party intellectual property coming to the Microsoft world, and they're pushing these mixed reality headsets, and yet they're still in those silos at Microsoft World, and we can't do that. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Paul, I just want to get virtually seasick once, and they're not going to let me do it.
Yep. Yeah, I missed my chance on Twitter. You asked, what are you supposed to do in this game? And I said, drown. And what I should have said was drown and then have someone lift your wallet from your carcass, because obviously it's Sea of Thieves.
Yes. Pirating and all that good stuff. Although I will say I want to play against some people on the Xbox because, keyboard and mouse versus controller. I think we would know how that would fare. But
it's worth mentioning that you did kind of mention it in passing, but the game is free, like over the weekend, right, for everybody. So if you want to give it a shot to see what it's all about, this is your chance. It's free. Yep,
I believe. Don't quote me on this. I thought the PC version was about 19 gigs, so don't download it over your tethered Wi-Fi. But
yeah, don't do it over your phone, right? Unless you want it to explode.
Which, in that case, make sure you're filming, because this is not a sponsored endorsement to burn your house down, but, we would like to watch your phone explode.
Well, it will also help with the future lawsuit.
No, we won't. Anyways. Moving on. Speaking of phones, by the way, Paul, apparently Microsoft's going to be offering a Samsung Galaxy S9 Microsoft Edition.
I guess they've been doing this since last year. I kind of lost track of this, but obviously whatever it was, February, March, when the S8 came out, Microsoft was doing this. And it must have been in April or whenever we went to build. I went over to the mall near the hotel, and they have a Microsoft kiosk there. And instead of like a store, like it's a little like a thing you'd buy popcorn at, except at this one you can buy Surface devices and stuff. And they had it there at the time. And then I kind of forgot about it. But, remember Microsoft did that big deal with Samsung about a year and a half ago or so. And part of the deal was that their apps would be pre-bundled on certain Samsung devices, not just phones, but tablets and other devices. And apparently part of it's that Microsoft's going to be selling these devices. So if you want to get this thing at the Microsoft store, you can. If it's like it was before, you're just buying a Samsung Galaxy S9. There's nothing special about it. But if you want to take it out of the box and get it activated while you're in the store, Microsoft could download an image to the phone that has their apps on it, and you can do it that way. I assume it's the same thing this time. Do we know that for a fact?
We don't, but I can't imagine they're going to be doing anything different in this case. So that's...
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be coming up with like a special version of the phone, right?
Yep. I wonder if this was a multi-year deal or what's... I have no idea.
Yeah.
Just because
Microsoft's smart to offer phones
sure.
through the store. And if they get a customer in person and they want to put stuff on the phone or whatever for them, that's smart. I mean, it's a good idea.
Yeah, and it actually gets foot traffic into the store, which, as we all know, is not the strength of the Microsoft store.
Yeah, and remember, it might have been as recently as a year ago. I mean, there was a thing at one time where Microsoft and Samsung had this deal, and people were thinking, well, does this mean that Microsoft could sell a version of the S8 that has Windows Mobile on it? And it's like, guys, like seriously, nope. Even a year ago, that was ludicrous. Today, obviously, it's possible. It's just, that's not happening. But anyway, a real phone with Microsoft apps on it is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's one way to get it.
Yeah, I still don't know why you would do it personally.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
the thing that goes through my head is like, okay, so what's the advantage of buying it through there? So they will open the phone for you. They will load all the apps for you and do all that stuff for you. But my gut tells me that if you're smart enough to know that Microsoft's selling a Microsoftified Samsung Galaxy S9, you already know how to do all that. And you probably like being the first person to touch your phone rather than some random person fondling.
Yeah, is there anything worse than someone else powering a new $1,000 device or whatever? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, when I bought my iPhone 7 at the store, the guy was like taking it out of the box. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, I will do this at home in my privacy, with Celine Dion playing in the background and some candles.
Yes.
I will do this myself.
Candles.
Thank you.
Here's an idea: put the device you just got your hands all over back in the box, and give me a new one, and I will take that one home. Yeah, that's true.
I don't get it, but clearly they saw value. Actually, where I was going with that was that maybe they saw enough people with the S8 that they did it, or is it like they are contractually obligated to do it at this point, and that's why it's happening?
It doesn't hurt anything. It's okay.
Hurts my feelings, Paul. Hurts my feelings. So, All right, folks, one of the things we do here on Friday is take a look back at the comments, as Paul alluded to at the top of the show. And the first one comes from, his name is Stukes, and this is on the Windows 10 S mode changes. And he says, Microsoft, please promise to make confusing changes to Windows licensing, the store, UWP, and Skype at least twice a year. It's what customers have come to expect from you at least once a year. Also, please cancel a product.
Yep. It's cynical. I like it, but it's cynical. I'm reminded, this has come up recently. I don't remember if I said this on a podcast or whatever, but years ago when Microsoft was coming out with the Xbox 360, one of the little innovations there that people kind of forget about is that previous to that, games would ship, and that was the game. You got a disc, and that was it. There was nothing else coming. If there was a mistake on there, it was on there. There was no way to fix it. And so the Xbox 360 included this download mechanism where game makers could update their games over time. So, that makes sense. It works like Windows Update does. It works like the Windows Store, any mobile store does today. Anyone can listen to that and think that makes sense. But as I said to whoever the person was I talked to at the time at Microsoft from Xbox, I was like, well, I mean, doesn't that sort of, mean that we're going to see lower quality products coming? I mean, knowing that they can update this thing at any time, it seems like, the initial version will always be crap. And he said, no, that's not going to happen. We have a big process at Microsoft to ensure quality, blah, 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 whatever. And obviously there are unforeseen things that can happen, or you might want to just add to the game, whatever it is. And this is a net good thing. I was like, okay, that makes sense, But the way things are today is now the platform makers are using the same mentality. It's like, well, we can update this thing every month. What's the difference? We can ship a half-realized version of something. We can ship a version of Windows 10 last fall that has 1/18 of it with restyled in this new Fluent design, and then when the spring version comes out, we can do another 37%, and we'll just we'll kind of make it up as we go along. Like this is the way the world is kind of evolved. So yeah, that's a
Trying to
tough one.
figure out how it's your fault, but we're just going to run with it is your fault.
I saw the apocalypse coming. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of the apocalypse coming, the next one. So this is referring to the Amazon and Cortana integration that has been delayed, and Microsoft is now self-hosting. Judah Zook writes, he says, no timeline for release. I already know when it will be released, and it's not a big secret. They will release it too late and when it's no longer relevant, because that is what Microsoft is doing nowadays.
That one is so cynical, you could savor it like a fine cognac. You just kind of let it air out a little bit, and it just keeps getting better the more you think about it, because he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. I have nothing to add to that. Exactly.
No, nor do I. Nor do I. Because I'm sitting here looking at both devices, thinking, man, why can't they be friends? Why not?
Why can't we be friends?
Right.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that, is what the reply to that would be.
Yeah.
Hey, Cortana, why can't we be friends? Right?
Yep.
Just wait till the confusion sets in. If that thing could walk into a wall and hurt itself, it would.
Or it could walk itself into a glass panel at an Apple campus and have to call 911 multiple times already since opening that park.
How can a company that can't have real intelligence make artificial intelligence? Mm-hmm. Think about it. It makes more sense than you may believe.
Is that in a fortune cookie you read recently?
I don't know. It just words come out. I don't know.
They just come out. We hope they're
sometimes they form sentences. Sometimes they don't. I don't.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. So you've got nobody at home. Are you just going to prestige this weekend then, Paul?
No. I'm going to work on the book a lot. I got a bunch of stuff. It's funny. I go through this from time to time. I start down paths with these articles, and I write thousands of words in many cases, and then they don't come out. Like I wrote a lengthy editorial this morning, not meant to be like an attack on the New York Times, but there were 3 things in the New York Times recently that I took great exception to, and they're all of the same topic, and it's tech related. It was one of the articles was about why dumb devices are better than smart devices. One was about how if you go on vacation, you should never bring a device with you out in the world and take pictures and stuff. And one of them was about some idiot who, I just read paper newspapers for 2 months, and you're never going to believe what happened next. And it's like this. I have a huge problem with the whole mentality of those things, and they're overreactions to things. And I wrote it, and then I looked at it, and I'm like, this just seems really mean, maybe, or like a tacky. I don't really mean to go after people or after even a publication like the New York Times, but I sort of, so I sit on it. What happens is then you get hit by this great indecision, and you never end up, maybe I'll never read it. Or I did write it. Maybe I'll never publish it. But anyway, I'm going to try to iron through all that stuff. I actually have several of these things that it's sort of done basically. And, I've got the Windows 10s thing I'm going to start working on the book stuff. Yeah. So I'll be working and Call of Dutying, but Mehdi is sick, by the way. And he just pinged me. I had a couple things for him today. So actually right after we get out of here, I'm going to just write up a couple of news articles, and cover for him.
I think the term you used was the great indecision. That is also known how we try to pick where we're going to dinner tonight.
Oh, yeah. I also do this when we need to watch something new on Netflix, and you spend 45 minutes clicking around and watching previews, and then you end up getting mad at each other because you can't find something to watch. Yeah, it's a family night in the Throughout home is beautiful.
Yeah. No, we're actually going to another Disney on Ice this evening with the kid at 7:00, which will be fun and filled with Chinese-made plastic toys that I'm sure my daughter's going to want that light up and make all sorts of.
So you will be seeing a live-action version of like Olaf and Elsa or whatever. Ilsa, I don't know. Elsa the she-wolf? No, wait. I'm not really a Disney guy, but I have a rough handle on some of the stuff.
Rough. Yep.
Well, have fun. I think given what you will be doing this evening, you should demand your choice of restaurant.
Yeah, I suspect I'm going to lose that argument.
Yep.
Uh,
I expect to see a picture of you with like a Happy Meal or something. You know, one of those things like we have like a paper crown in your head or something.
well, the last time we went to one of these things, we bought this Olaf, which was a
Oh, wow.
snowman for
I
those
got
who
that
aren't
one
familiar.
right. Yep.
Snow cone, and it was like $7 or something like that for a snow cone. I was like, Jesus.
Sure.
I was like, you know what, we're gonna take out a second mortgage here. But it was like a mug, and then on top, so the mug was only maybe 2 inches deep, and then there was about 3 inches of shaved ice on top of it where all the flavoring was. And my daughter was 3 at the time, and she cried because it was too high, and she wanted me to throw away the top part so she could dig it out. And I put like $3.50 of shaved ice in the trash can along with my dignity.
Yep.
So, kids, they're
Have a good time.
yeah, yep. All right, folks. Well, that wraps it up for today. And today's show is brought to you by Cloudberry Lab. Check them out at cloudberrylab.com/FRD for a free trial offer. And we'll meet you back here on Monday when we're all Olafed out or something. Yep.
Yep. All right. I guess I have some writing to do.
Apparently, actually, I'm going to render this video and then I'm going to go to the gym because I usually go to the gym after dinner, but I'm apparently going to go stand in a frozen auditorium or a frozen ice rink.
Right. Well, at least you'll be able to look at people acting out Disney characters on skates. So,
Yeah. Highlight of my day, Paul. All right. I'll catch you later.
sorry. Bye.
Bye.